bring up that article I told you about this. This article, listen to this, by the way. Listen to this. This is the title of the CNN article. Depression drove her close to suicide. Now, Olympian Raven Saunders wants to, quote, destigmatize mental health. And good for her, but the idea that she was close to suicide and then she discovered the shot put is troubling. Since returning from the 2016 Rio Olympics, her mental health had spiraled. Sitting at the wheel of her car, her mind was now drawn to a dark place from which there seemed to be no return. As she circled past a drop-off along the Mississippi Highway, the urge to veer off the road towards the towering trees below was almost overwhelming. This is nice, huh? This will be a nice montage they do. Just have her sitting in her car. They'll recreate it. They're like, can you take us through the route where you thought about driving off the highway? We want to film it. We want to have like a little compilation before you go up and lose. It was like no one really understood the pain and the challenges I was going through. Saunders, who placed 5th in the shot put, this is what I mean. If they go and it doesn't happen, it's curtains. It got worse and worse and worse and worse till it all boiled over. I remember in the morning just going through the motions, kind of being in a daze, having things to do, but not really having any motivation or any care to really get anything done. Then hopping in my car and driving and looking at that spot. A few months before, Saunders had considered how the chances of survival would be slim if someone was to drive off the edge of the same drop-off she now circled past. However, it was an impromptu text to a former therapist, really a last-ditch effort that saved her life. She soon received a response. Was it BetterHelp? Providing her with the reassurance and courage to go home and get the help she needed. Today, she's preparing for the Olympic trials in June with the prospect of her second Olympics looming. She wants to, quote, destigmatize mental health and help others who, like her, can get caught up in cycles of depression and anxiety. So these are the types of stories you're going to hear at the Tokyo Olympics. I mean, if you think, there's not going to be any more cute, like, stories where it was like, this athlete, we always knew they were special. It's going to be like, I wanted to hang myself. And then I decided that my only hope was fucking synchronized swimming. I had an eating disorder for many years where I would vomit up everything that I ate. But then I realized that positioned me perfectly to be a synchronized swimmer. And I like it because only my legs show and the rest of my body's in the water because I still can't look at myself without wanting to purge. But I can look at my feet, and those are the only things that come out of the water. I keep them perfectly pointed. I mean, get ready for the tragedy like you have never. It's going to be, and it used to be like they were athletes, and it was like, great athletes that had like worked their entire lives at being athletes. Now it's just going to be people who you're worried about and you don't think they should. You actually go, we don't think you should go. We don't think you should do this. Like after I read that, I go, I don't know if you should do this. What happens if you lose again? What happens if she comes in and this time she comes in 7th? It's back to the car. Isn't it? That's a problem. She's going to be driving on that same fucking stretch of highway. It's going to be sad. And now with COVID, there's going to be like some memorial in Japan to COVID, which people are still dying of COVID, by the way.
Yeah, Osaka's getting ravaged.
Yeah, they're getting ravaged. So what they're going to do is like, they're just going to release like, those lanterns into the air and one represents everybody who is still in a hospital bed. It's going to be a very strange Olympics, I think. We don't need it. We can skip it. No one believes that they're going to be in the Olympics, by the way. Like, no one gets, like, very few people get into the Olympics.